Happy Tea. Hey, Jasmine.
Karen, how are you?
I'm good. I'm really excited. I'm like so excited because we're finally getting to introduce this special series that we've prepared for everyone. I'm super pumped because it's been like a passion project in a lot of ways. Like, this is an idea we had a while back, right? And it's finally coming to fruition. And I'm really excited to get to release it. I feel like I've learned a lot,
Oh my
you
God,
know,
yeah.
just in the
Yes.
process of
Right.
creating this little mini series. So I'm like really excited about it. So
I know. I'm excited about the reach. We say this with every single episode and almost, but truly, y'all, we put out good stuff. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm excited every time. And it's genuine.
yeah, yeah.
I am so pumped about putting this stuff out there, especially now. I think it's a
Mhm.
good time to put it out there. I want other mothers, particularly in this field, to hear people that sound like them. And I think we've done that. I really do.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we really thought with a lot of intentionality about how to put this together and what we were trying to achieve. And I feel like we've succeeded. So, we're introducing this series, but we're also already patting ourselves on the back. So,
100. Yes. Yeah. Good job, us. We thought about
Right.
this. This theme kept coming up over and over and over again. But let's hang on a
Yeah.
second. So,
Yeah.
Karen, you're really good at this. What is this series about?
Okay. Yes. So we are launching a series called Mental Motherhood. And in the series, we are exploring all the different experiences that mental health professionals who are also mothers have throughout all the different stages of motherhood, and specifically what they wish they had known beforehand, because that's kind of our shtick, right?
Yep.
But the goal is to kind of track motherhood as an experience over time. So we called up a bunch of our past guests because we were realizing that so many of them really do run the gamut of these motherhood phases. And we were already a little bit sometimes talking about how being a mom intersects with and impacts their professional life. But we wanted to dig into that more deeply. And that's really what this series is about. So, our goal is to really go there, go to like the good, the bad, the ugly, the gross, the traumatizing, the
Mhm.
hilarious, because ultimately that's what motherhood's all about, regardless of the stage you're in and regardless of the circumstances. But yeah, that's the point of the series, is to focus on motherhood in particular.
And being a counselor. Because
Correct.
I do think that
Yeah.
that is a unique experience in some ways, maybe not all ways, but a unique experience in some ways. I myself am not a traditional mother. I have a dog and, a very supportive partner. We refer to ourselves as her mom and dad. But yeah, it's not a traditional mother experience, although we will get to that
That's right.
in a
Not
later
leaving it out.
episode. But yeah, I think that being a counselor can be a really unique experience, particularly in motherhood, because you're aware. Well, something I've learned is you're aware of all of the things that could go wrong, of all of the, like Karen said, kind of the trauma that is inherent in the motherhood journey or parenthood journey. And that is hard enough in itself and beautiful enough in itself, but then you're also holding space for a bunch of people who maybe have attachment needs or maybe are struggling with getting their needs met or, you know, taking care of some old parental wounds. If you're a counselor, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So being a mother and a caregiver in the sort of count like in a therapeutic
Yeah.
appropriate
Yeah.
way that we all are
Well, we
as
call
counselors.
this the helping profession,
Right.
right?
Right.
Sometimes. So, like, that's a big part of what we do
Yeah.
professionally is help. And I don't know if you guys have ever met any kids, but they need a lot of fucking help, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, how much
And they're
helping are you gonna do?
their parents often need more help. And
Yeah.
and we as counselors, that's like a joke. Like, we know that. We know that kids need help, but parents need more help.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
being a parent and a counselor, knowing that you're the one that's actually gonna need the help, but also providing help to other people. Oh, man, I don't know how people do it. I still kinda don't know how everybody does it, but I have a better idea of the experience of it,
Yeah.
I guess.
Totally. Yeah, I feel like I've learned a lot. I think the other motivation we had when we were deciding to put together this series is we're both women, and I've got some pretty strong opinions about womanhood and rights and responsibilities and realities and social pressures and all that crap. And even though I think historically the counseling profession started out as a male dominated one, thank you, Freud, it's just not plain the case anymore. Instead, it's mostly women who are in the counseling and related fields. And I mean, I know that was the case for me when I was going to school, and it's still the case for me now. I mean, it's the
Right.
case for our fucking podcast. We're always excited when we get a male counselor on our podcast because
Right.
it's like truly the numbers are just very skewed, right?
Yeah.
And so the other reality is that it's the reality of women who also deal with the physiological demands of pregnancy and childbirth, and then all the multitude of experiences that we call motherhood. And there are special challenges associated with those realities. And so that's, I think, something that mattered to me in particular about kind of exploring this particular topic was there is this like unique challenge and this unique intersection that happens when you are the person who is bearing the brunt of the child creation and rearing process in so many ways. And then how
Mhm.
does that intersect with our work, which is
Yeah.
also caregiving intense, right? So I don't know. I feel like that reality sometimes gets unacknowledged and unappreciated and like so many other types of women work. And I don't like that. I want to shine a light on it. So
Yeah.
that's important to me.
Well, right. Shine a light on it, but for all that it entails, not just the hard parts of it, but the good parts of it too, and like the helpful parts of it. Because I think that, in the same vein as saying it's a unique experience to be a mother and a counselor, it's a unique experience to be a mother and a counselor for some really good things too. You're aware of these issues. You can say it. It's, I feel like I'm saying the exact same thing, just in a different light. Like, but it's
Hmm.
true. It's really hard. And you have this maybe not leg up, but you definitely have a certain set of skills
Hmm.
that make you finely tuned for this particular life choice.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that I wanted to do this series is because a lot of our friends have babies and like counselor friends have babies. And frankly, I think that there is a huge lack of transparency in this profession in general, especially when it comes to like planning, money. We talk about informed consent, like that's our whole thing. If I
Yeah.
had known, I don't know if I would have made the same choice.
Yeah.
And I have loved learning about the planning that goes into having a child while being a mental health counselor in a profession that is sort of wrought with instability. We have a lot of private practitioners. Private practice is sold as the golden career choice in this field. And people get into it, like myself, don't know what they don't know, and then have to pivot and make shit up as they go along. And I think this is hopefully going to provide something very similar to you guys, our audience, who maybe are already in this field or who are looking to get in this field and do want to have a family. Like
Yeah.
the realities of this that you should absolutely be aware of.
Hmm.
Learn from people who have done this.
Yeah.
I think we've done a good job too of presenting, like you said, all the different stages, but all the different approaches to how people did this, because there's a million different ways to go about doing this, kind of
Hmm.
depending on the time as well. That's something I got kind of from this series that I didn't expect to get was people who had children or counselors who had children prior to becoming a counselor, or
During. Yeah.
20, yeah, during and like, or 20 years ago,
Yeah.
versus people who are having babies right now and who are also counselors. How different that is, but also how similar. It's
Yeah.
very cool that I
It
I
is
wasn't
cool.
expecting. I was hoping we would get some preparatory stuff to inform people about this choice that they are making or debating making. We got a lot more out of it than I was
Yeah.
expecting.
Yeah, I agree. And I think also we wanted to, like you said, trace kind of the stages of motherhood all along the way. And I agree. There's a lot of people that I know personally that are in the stage of motherhood where I just had a baby. And it's hard in that stage in particular, perhaps, and especially if it's your first baby, to like imagine what the next phase is going to be like. And so I think another thing that was important to us when we were like imagining how we wanted to create this series was to provide this conversations with women at all the different points along the journey, because it is a journey and it is different at different stages, and the challenges and the rewards and the things that you're experiencing are different along the way. And we wanted to give that complete picture. So we've got, stories from people who have kids that are teenagers, not just babies, and what's different there, and young adults and older adults, and all of those different stages along the way of being a parent. So like if you're in the baby stage, you maybe can hear some stories of people that are in a stage a little bit further down the road from you and be like, oh, okay, I'm looking for that or looking ahead for that. And, I think
Or
that's
what do I
helpful
wanna get
too.
yeah, like, what do I wanna get out of this, or how could I change this a little bit, or how could I enjoy this time more because the next phase looks a little bit different. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. I also think one of our goals with this particular series was to demonstrate things a little more broadly, in the sense of, yes, it's about being both a mom and a mental health professional, but
Mm.
especially after we've talked to everybody we've talked to, I see so much connection with being a mom and just being a working mom. A
Yes, yes.
mom, and also trying to have an identity outside of that, trying to have a career, trying to just literally do anything else than just momming. And so I think there's so much similarity to people that aren't in our field, actually,
Yes.
who are being moms. And so I really hope that what people get out of it is that becoming a parent impacts literally everything. The work that we do as mental health professionals is connected very closely to parenting, but at the same time, like, there's so much overlap between just being a working parent, particularly being a working mom. And so I think people that are outside of our profession will get something out of this too. At least that's my hope.
Totally. Totally. I hope so too, and if I were a betting person, I would bet yes, because something that came up over and over again, like Karen said, is that connection between women who are working, like modern women who are working or who have been working and are experiencing motherhood, which is, I don't know, maybe maybe one of the biggest things you could do in a life. Uh,
Yeah.
and this is I'm glad you called it a passion project because this deserves so much attention. And again, I point to the time. Like, it's an important time to start talking about stuff like this or continue talking about things like this, because what we highlight is, yes, the challenges, yes, the benefits, yes, the surprises and all the cool stuff, but also, the real experience of being a working mom. So it's not just for counselors, although that is our thing. We do put counselors in the spotlight. I agree. I think that over the series, as we were recording it, it became very apparent that this wasn't just about the counseling profession. This was about women who are working and are mothers and their experience and their needs and how, another thing that came to mind was how I could support women in my life who are mothers and who are working as a non childbearing person. I can support women because I think as the non childbearing person, I don't always know, short of like, a crocheted pair of booties. Like, I don't,
That they're going to grow out of, Jasmine.
right. Like, I don't always know how, and I work with parents. Like, I know a lot of the struggles. I help with a lot of the struggles, but even still, I struggle to support working women, mothers, or know what to do. So I'm also hoping that the series provides that for some people who maybe choose not to bear children, like myself. How can you support those around you? How can you support the people who do choose to bear children?
Totally. I agree. I think I don't have children either, but I have so many people in my life that do. And
Right.
I think that was a part of why we also, wanted to directly ask some questions of our guests about that. Like, what's the kind of support that would be useful here? I'm like genuinely asking, like, help me,
Right,
help me
right,
help you, bro.
right,
Right?
right,
Like,
right. In
you know, and
every
yeah.
stage, right? Like, we ask this question in every single stage, not just in the new mother stage, but the teenage
Mhm.
stage and the grandmother stage,
Yeah.
because truthfully, yes, mothers play a huge role in this whole thing, and they are at the spotlight here, but also the supporting characters like us, the support, the village. Holy shit. We
Such a theme. Yeah.
this series almost could have been named The
No,
Village or
no,
something, but we're not gonna
no,
the
no,
copyrights, we can't
for
get through the
real.
copyright.
And our title is so much better. Mental
It is,
Motherhood.
truly, truly. It's an MN.
Again, patting ourselves on the back. Okay, so here's the other reality about this series is it's gonna be different than our
Mhm.
normal interview episodes. So
Yes,
there's a little bit of a different structure. We are trying to cover this huge topic of motherhood. We're handling the interviews, the episodes, and the release a little differently than our regular episodes, which is part of why we wanted to do this intro to kind of like prep you guys in the sense of like, here's what you can expect. Again, the series is tracking the motherhood experience over time with each of our guests talking about a particular phase or stage of motherhood from pregnancy and maternity leave, toddlers and starting school, teen and young adults, special circumstances along the way, empty
such
nesting,
such as
grandbabies,
such as divorce and
divorce,
step parenting, having kids who have special needs. We got it
right?
all, guys,
We
really.
got it all,
We
guys.
got a lot of
Yeah.
it.
This is going to be a 10-part series. The episodes for this series will be quite a bit shorter than our regular episodes. They're a little more focused than usual. Everyone we talked to for this series has already been a guest on the show. And so, also, pro tip, if you have not already listened to our first conversation with all of our guests, then we'll be sure to reference their episode and link it so that you can check that out too. Also, in the show notes of this episode, you'll see just a total list of all the episodes that if you have not already listened to them, please go back and listen to them because we're not going to cover the same stuff we covered before with any of these guests. It's totally different stuff. So make sure to check out their earlier episodes before you listen. Not that they're like that you necessarily have to, but I think you should, you know?
You totally should. You totally should, because another thing that comes up in this series is identity, and motherhood
Mhm.
is a part of their identity, but it's not the only part of their identity. So I think it's worth a listen to go back and you can skip all the beginning part if you want with us. You just skip it. It's like 20 minutes. You skip it and then you dive in to the person that you're about to listen to the motherhood episode on to get a sense of who they are and what they do, because we don't go into very much detail how their work is, if that makes sense. We don't do the deep dives that we normally do with work. We assume you already know that,
Right.
and we put motherhood on top of it to add another facet to their identity. So, I mean, honestly, if anything, it makes you even more impressed with this person because
I
they
know,
not
right?
only do all these crazy things for their job, or they've had this long journey, but they don't really talk about motherhood in any great length in any of the episodes in the past. Whereas with this, it's like a whole new facet of their life that happened a lot of the time simultaneously while they're doing all the things that they talk about in their original episode. So it's super impressive. And if you're kind of like me, like sitting there wondering, like, how does this person run a private practice and a group practice and a nonprofit and they have a kid? Like,
Mhm. Or
if you're
more than
wondering,
one. Yeah.
more than one, right, and they've had, like, multiple professions, like, how do they do that? I think they can you probably still won't know how they do it, but they'll at least talk about it, and
Yeah.
you'll get more information.
The other thing that we are doing differently with this series is we are releasing these episodes weekly, y'all.
Oh my god.
It's like once a week that you're gonna have us through the rest of the fall.
It was a lot of
And
work, so
yeah, you better love it, right? The episodes will be a little shorter, right? But still, every week you're going to get a new story, a new plot along the motherhood journey. And so we sort of designed the series to be listened to in a chronological way. Like, that's the
Mhm.
intention too. And so we really recommend listening to it that way because that's really what our intention was. And we put a lot of thought into that. So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
And we're hoping that it sort of coincides with, the beginning of the school year. Everybody is jumping back into their routines, things like that. So we want to maybe not add another thing to the routine, but just add a little bit of relatability to the hustle and bustle of getting back into the school year that honestly, most people center their life around. So
Yeah.
if you're struggling, maybe you got kids or maybe you're thinking about having kids and you're feeling the resurgence after the summer slump, this is a good touch base. It's a good touch base.
Yeah. And all the episodes are still going to be explicit, guys. So they're not
Yes.
exactly kid friendly. They're adult friendly. We're going to
Right.
talk about, again, the nitty gritty sometimes. So just, we just can't not.
Trigger warning,
Trigger
trigger warning,
warning ahead
right?
for
Because
sure.
surprise, all phases of motherhood have just a sprinkle of trauma. Naturally, not even with the addition of other things,
Right.
just
We didn't
naturally.
even have to try to find it.
Didn't have to try. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if that's not
There.
I am so overtly feminist after this. Just
I
it's just solidified my identity.
Right. Women are so fucking cool.
God,
That's
they're
for sure. Like,
incredible.
it's really cool.
Incredible.
Really cool.
Incredible. Yeah.
Totally. And then we've also got a little capstone at the very end that we hope everybody also finds enjoyable because, again, Jasmine and I don't have human children, but we do have dog children. And so we've got a bonus episode at the end of this series about the experience of being dog moms. And
Woo!
we just hope that's a really fun way to close out the series. And again, that you guys stick along with us for this whole ride, after which we'll return to our regularly scheduled programming. But again, we just hope that everybody enjoys the series. We'd love your feedback. Do you guys like these kinds of things? Do you want us to do more series or different series? We love that kind of feedback.
Yeah.
This was an idea of ours, but like, what are your ideas? We'd like to hear them. What do you want to hear more about?
Absolutely. How can we flesh out this long form informed consent that we have created
Mm-hmm.
with a podcast? Yeah.
Yep. So,
All right, you guys, strap in. Strap in. It's a crazy ride. I think you're going to absolutely love it. Some people may cry. We did not get through this without tears. Also, a lot of laughs, particularly with like the middle kids. Excited about that age and like the older kids. It eases up, I think. Much like motherhood
yeah.
itself. It's like real intense, but it eases up. It's pretty cool. It's got a whole vibe to it. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for listening. As always, if you like what we're doing, as Karen said, please rate, review, follow us, give us some feedback. It really helps us not only with the dreaded algorithms that we all just know and love, not know. I don't know what that thing
I
is.
don't get them
But whatever, it helps somehow.
somehow.
So definitely rate us, connect with us on social media. Instagram's a really great way to connect. We're pretty active on those DMs. So shoot us a DM on there. You could also reach out to us on our Gmail if you have any sort of feedback or maybe just a comment. We would love that. It's therapytpod@gmail.com. And on Instagram, we're therapytpod. We love getting comments and questions. So please don't hesitate to do so. Maybe you want to be interviewed. We're still open for that as well.
Mhm.
But also just to say, hey, that's fine. Whatever it is, we love to hear from you guys. And this is our little baby, Mentor
Yeah.
Mother. We are
Oh
the
my
mothers of the
gosh.
mothers.
That's right.
So we hope you enjoy our little passion project baby, Mental Motherhood, starting next week.
Check
See
it
you
out.
there.